Hi, friends. This is James and Kara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Hello, friends.
Good morning, or close to afternoon.
We actually just finished cleaning up camp. It's a little bittersweet. We're going to be leaving our home for the last, what did we decide? It was 9 days?
9 days.
9 days.
8 nights, 9 days.
So we have the truck all packed up. We're getting ready to hit the road. So we wanted to come to you and I guess show you camp cleaned up and packed up. So we've been working all morning.
Leave no trace behind, no trash or nothing, and we're checking out.
Time to go. Say goodbye to Panamint Valley. All right, we'll see you on the road. Good morning, friends. So we have officially left Death Valley.
Driving home.
Driving home. Driving to Bullhead, really.
Well, yeah. We wanted to recap our visit.
Yeah.
And just
fill in the blanks of some of the things that we didn't talk about or maybe we brushed on, some more information.
Well, just, what our plan is. This was our first visit to Death Valley. And I think that we weren't underprepared on the gear we had, but we were underprepared on how Death Valley's laid out, the significance of Death Valley, how big it is, the size of Connecticut, and where we camped versus where some of the places we wanted to go were 3 to 5 hours away from camp. So just driving there, spending time there and back, that can turn out to be a 10, 12-hour day. So if I learned anything, I learned that Death Valley is huge. And most of the roads in Death Valley, besides a few, are dirt.
Dirt roads, yeah.
Dirt roads. So you're spending a lot of your time on the dirt roads.
Yeah, so
you really can't even go over 25 miles per hour. So we really, in my opinion, only scratched the surface.
Oh, barely, yeah.
I wouldn't have camped anywhere else. Panamint Valley
It was amazing.
because we got to check out the airplanes, jets flying over us every day except for the weekend. We had Panamint Springs, 30-minute drive away or less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We had Rainbow Canyon. We had Panamint Dunes. We found a cabin that we were told about in the woods. So I wouldn't change that for anything.
And we took our time. So we didn't, we intentionally, when we go on these trips, we don't plan a lot of things. We have some things in mind that we like to do if we could. But we don't want to be stressed out. We don't want to be running around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to fill in everything that we want to fill in. We spent a lot of days just at camp, hanging out at camp, keeping it relaxed. Now, you could have definitely hit, we saw, I looked like a father and a son one of the days we hiked. They had just pulled up, set up a quick camp, and it looked like they're probably going to check out that area for the day tomorrow and then probably pack up camp and head to the next spot. And you really could see a whole lot more of Death Valley if you camp like that.
And that is the ranger that we had talked to did suggest that. He's like, just go to Panamint Valley and camp for a couple days.
Yeah.
But we're traveling with a lot of stuff.
A lot.
And 3 dogs.
Yeah.
So we didn't really want to camp inside the national park. We wanted to stay on the outskirts in Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah.
So that's what we were trying to do.
Now,
my next visit, so my take on Death Valley, I want to see more.
More, yeah.
And I just want to camp at other spots, and I would pack a little bit differently. And one of the things I didn't bring is a compressor, because a lot of the spots that we want to go to is you need to air down your tires.
Yeah, so it's a four-wheeler's paradise. It's, like James mentioned, it's the size of Connecticut, but all dirt roads winding around or up and through mountain passes. So it's very slow driving all over, very rocky, unmaintained roads. You may remember last summer or the summer before, I think it was, they got 2 inches of rainfall in one day, and that's more than the amount of rain they typically get in a year. So they had major flooding. So there's lots of areas where roads are washed out, and that's not uncommon because when they do get rain, it tends to be a lot. So yeah, it's if you like four-wheeling, jeeping, all of that, this is like your paradise. This is just an off-roaders, or what do they call them, overlanders paradise. If you haven't been to Death Valley, you need to get to Death Valley. You're really missing out because that's all it is for the entire park. There is some cement viewpoints that you can get to nice and easy, but most of the most amazing spots are on dirt roads. Yeah, they're very remote. So yeah, like James said, yeah, the compressor is a good thing. And it seemed like most of the gas stations had compressors that you can use for free everywhere.
At the visitor centers.
The visitor centers, gas stations, villages, whatever, they all had kind of a different name, but all the same thing. They had all your basic camper services needs, showers, water, campgrounds, gift shops, gasoline, air compressors.
Water.
Water was big, yeah. That's definitely a big part of Death Valley is it's a lot of slow driving, but it's beautiful. I mean, we didn't get really north in Death Valley at all. We stayed central and south for the most part, and we didn't even see all of the southern area. There was a couple of roads that we hadn't taken. So I look forward to going back in the future and checking them out more. But it's very vast. It's a lot.
Amazing. And we went at a great time.
Yes.
So January seems to be really nice there. We had good weather the whole time.
But we were talking about the potential of staying an extra night or two, and then we realized
They
they've
have
got snow coming in.
Sunday, Monday.
We did hit it perfectly. Definitely don't just assume because it's winter, it's a great time to go to Death Valley. Check the weather.
Check the weather, and not only check the weather temperatures and stuff like that, because you can be fooled.
Check the wind.
The wind.
Yes.
Because it's really windy in Death Valley sometimes. We only experienced 1 day of wind, but that 1 day was not fun. You really couldn't do anything outside. Very difficult to do anything outside because of the dust.
And if we would have been driving around on a back road, wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Just checking out the scenery, taking a nice slow drive. But because we were tent camping, and really what we should have done was probably take down our tent so we could just go do something. But we didn't think it was going to be as miserable as it was. We were planning on it being an admin day, and it just complications with video editors made things a very stressful day. But if you were driving around, it probably would have been a grand day. You wouldn't have barely noticed the wind if you were just booning around on the back roads. Because it stopped right after dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around 6.
Yeah.
But great stay. It was, everybody should visit Death Valley at least once. I think it takes like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
It's so big, and there's so many things I want to go back and see.
Yep.
On our way home, we stopped at Dante's Peak or Dante's Viewing,
I think it's Dante's View.
and Kara took some video of that.
Yeah.
That was like first time looking over the Grand Canyon. This was first time looking over to the salt beds. What they call it?
Bad
Badlands?
water. Bad water.
Bad water.
Yeah.
It's just looked
Oh my
so
God.
cool. We took a video of it. It was just something you see out of movies.
So we explored all over Death Valley, but we didn't really spend any time in that salty lower elevation below sea level. It's over by Furnace Creek, which was close to 45 minutes from where we were camping.
Yeah, it was 47
So
minutes.
we didn't really spend any time in that area, and you can see roads wind through there. So I definitely look forward to checking that out in the future. It was just breathtaking. And that's where the lake was when Death Valley had the lake after those big rainstorms.
They were letting people kayak if you drive.
That's what that's what we heard. Yeah. So that will be magical to check out in the future for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to going back to Death Valley. It's definitely a spot for the winter months that we can explore and visit while we're traveling around the country,
Just a nice warm place to go. It's like that's the reason you go to Florida. It's cool stuff to see.
Yep.
But the temperatures, you're not dealing with freezing temperatures.
Except Florida just got snow this week.
Yeah. But we plan on, checking out Texas more, Florida in the winter months to stay warm.
So I do want to start a new segment after we visit a place. start, stop, do more of and do less of, right?
What are
Stop,
you
do
going
more,
to
do less.
start doing? What are you going to stop doing? What are you going to do more of? And what are you going to do less?
Yep. So in terms of, it can be related to Death Valley or camping in general. So essentially lessons we've learned from this trip to Death Valley. So I'm going to ask you first, James, what would you stop?
One of the things I want to stop is, I don't know yet. You're going to have to go first.
I feel like I want to stop. I know that I want to stop worrying about negative circumstances while we're in the negative circumstances. Like that windy day, I was so grumpy all day long. I was irritated because the whole legislative thing with the TikTok cap cut thing affected my video editing that day. And so I was trying to find a new video editor. And so I was stressing out about trying to find something that's going to work with my Chromebook. And I was in a piss poor mood, to be honest. I was in a bad mood, even though I was in one of the most beautiful places that I've experienced. I'm doing my dream, literally living my dream, getting to travel around and work, building this podcast that I love doing. And I'm pissed off and annoyed about it. And it wasn't until the next day that I actually reflected on the day and I was like, it was one bad day. I had one bad day and I let it affect my mood for the whole day instead of looking at the full picture that I'm having a bad experience in the middle of living my dream, essentially. So I would like to stop having bad days, I guess, or stop letting my circumstances dictate my mood. So that's my stop.
My stop is probably going to be when we go on these trips. I stop or I procrastinate my meditation, my reading, and I got sucked into the planes, so then I'm just drinking coffee, looking for planes, trying to take pictures of the jets. So one of the things is to keep my routines. I want to stop procrastinating and keep my routines that I have at home.
Stop procrastinating your well-being.
Yeah, exercising and doing my meditation and doing my reading, all things that are important to me when I'm home. But when we go on these 10 days excursions, they go out the window.
As soon as we go camping, it seems like, yeah, exactly.
So I want to stop procrastinating. So that's going to lead right into what I want to start doing.
That was going to be my start. I want to start taking my home routines camping with us.
So yeah, I want to start making sure I'm taking care of myself on the road as I do at home. And then I want to do more of hiking and doing activities and do less of being in the car and making the excuse that we have the dog, so we can't go do this or that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You gotta finish now.
So I want to do more, or so I want to start bringing our routines at home with us on our adventures. We say we're going to do it, and then it's cold in the morning, we get up, first thing we do is turn on the water for coffee, and then we drink that coffee. We ruined our routine. We didn't meditate, we didn't exercise.
You know, when I get up, I want to get up and I do my meditation, I drink my salty water, and I don't have my coffee for 30 minutes after getting up, sometimes an hour. This whole trip, coffee was the first thing because almost every morning we got up, it was around 37 degrees, so it was quite chilly.
Yeah, it was cold. There was a lot of mornings that the water was frozen. So yeah, it's sunshiny. Yeah, the dog water. Not all the water. It's sunshiny and warm during the day, but those desert nights are really, really cold. So yeah, so that's my start. My do more of, I want to do more hiking. I'm with you on that. I didn't feel like we moved around enough. I feel like we got really complacent and lazy, just really enjoyed hanging around camp. And then we'd be like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. We need to go do something. And then we would drive around basically. Drive somewhere, walk with the dogs for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then
do a straight 3 miles, in an hour.
Yeah.
And that's
we definitely exercise more at home.
Yeah, that's the minimum.
And we're out in these beautiful landscapes. But you're right, the dogs make it a headache because we run into somebody on the trail or they get a sniff on something or donkey poop and forget about it. Like they're just There are three menaces. They outnumber us. It's like I have never had toddlers, but I imagine it's like having three toddlers. They're just everywhere all at the same time. Somebody's getting into something, barking at somebody. It's hard, especially when we visit the national park. So camp was really nice because there was nobody around. And so it was just easy. Even when we walked around camp, it was nice and easy, but we weren't exploring new places as much. I think in the future, when we have a camper, it'll be easier because the camper will be home. The dogs will be able to lounge in the camper and relax and feel at home, just like they would be at home if we went anywhere. And we can go adventure and go on a hike or whatnot. But it's hard to get up early when it's 37 degrees outside. Like, that's hard to do, to get up and get motivated before noon. But I would like to do more of that. And then I would like to do less of, and I don't know how to make it work because somehow I got to adventure around creating a podcast, but I want to do less working because I feel like I spent 3 days on my computer for the most part while we were here. And I think over time that'll change as I develop better systems and fine
Pass it off
tune
to somebody else.
fine tune it all. But well, if it's not me, then it's you, and that's no fun. It's the same problem. Oh,
Pass it
you're
off.
paying like somebody else as a third party? Yes, that would be awesome. That would be really awesome if we could just send all of our footage to somebody and they can make us something magical. That would be so cool. All right. So, you got anything else you want to add about Death Valley?
Go to Death Valley. You definitely got to check out the blog, and then definitely check out the YouTube for some videos.
Oh yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube. You can hear this entire podcast. All of our podcasts are now videos, and the videos of us driving through Death Valley, the airplanes, they are all along listening to this.
Check
YouTube
it
at
out.
Kerouacs Cruising.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We love you guys.
Bye.
If you guys have any questions about Death Valley, or you've been to Death Valley and you want to share some of your favorite spots, please do. Thanks for listening, you guys.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.